So Estonia have selected their song for Eurovision 2017 after Eesti Laul came to a close, and they have gone with Koit Toome and Laura. Both have entered Eurovision in the past. Laura went in a group in 2005 and Koit in 1998 when the UK hosted it. But they have gone to Eurovision with the song Verona. Rob, how do you feel about Verona?
I like it. I think it's a good song. It wasn't the best last night, controversially, because I know a lot of Eurovision fans are all about Verona, and I know now that this has been selected, it's going to be a lot of people's favourite songs. For me, they performed it relatively well, but I definitely think that Koit Toome is much stronger than Laura. I think Laura seems really nervous, and I think Koit, if that is how we're pronouncing his name, I think he carries her completely, and I don't think it's going to do as well as people think it is in the final. It's going to get to the final, but it's going to be in the bottom half of the leaderboard. Like, it's fine, it's okay, but as I said on Twitter this morning, it's not as good as Monster Like Me. It's nowhere near as good as that.
It's the one duet you're just never going to drop, is it?
No, it's not.
Well, I'm very happy this won. I did hear from people who were in Estonia and in the press room, Laura was actually unwell yesterday, and she didn't actually sing in the run-through because she was that unwell. So that explains her vocals, because I agree, I just thought like she wasn't sounding that great, and I was getting a bit worried. I also thought the draw was kind of pit against him going second. When that came out, I was just like, oh, they're not going to win. Like, no one ever wins from second, you know. But I was wrong. They did very well. They got 5 points from the jury, 12 from the televote in the first round, which put them second overall. And then in the super final, they won with 45,000 votes, 55% of the super final in total. And yet in both rounds, they nearly doubled the score of second place Curly. I am very happy with the song. I think it's done very well. They sing well together. Yeah, I think it's a great song. It's one of my favourites. It's definitely fighting for my top spot, but I don't think it just has it yet. And yeah, I think it will qualify. In the final, who knows? You never know. I know this is going to get compared to Stig Vlasta and Alina, because, you know, they sent a duet only 2 years ago, and it's going to get compared. But, hey, it's going. They've had the Eurovision experience.
Yeah, like you said, it's its own song in its own right. I mean, I think it's probably wrong to compare them, even though people definitely will. I mean, I just compared it to a Monster Like Me earlier on. So, but for me, they just weren't the strongest on the night. But I mean, obviously, they very much won over the people at home in Estonia, because, you know, the number of votes they got compared to anyone else is a long way above anyone else. Obviously, with Kelly in second. But for me, I think Lislem Salu was good. But I think Ariadne should have won. I think Ariadne was absolutely the strongest performer on the night. But neither the jury or the televote agreed. So Ariadne was probably my winner. I was surprised that Curly came second overall, because it was a bit of a mess for me. I don't think it was very good at all. And Alina Born should have done better than she did, but equally, she shouldn't have won, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, I disagree with Ariadne. I still think she came across really lost, really nervous, and it just looked and felt really empty. She still came fourth for the public, so she still had a fan base. Yeah, moving down onto second place, Curly. I don't know how this got second, to be honest. It's
I think it got second because of how popular Kelly is. It didn't get second. It didn't get second because of the song.
It won the first round, so there wasn't that super final. We would be seeing Spirit Animal in Kyiv, but the performance element was great, and we always knew the stage show was going to be something. But the vocal on it, especially near the end, was just way off out of sync. And I was covering it for the Eurotrip, and I was trying to be, neutral and biased, and I just couldn't in this performance. It was just. It wasn't like a wreck or anything. It wasn't bad, but there was just so many problems which you can't fix in 3 months, so to speak. Like, it's like they're still going to be there when you get to Eurovision, and it would have flopped if it got there. I mean, it had a lot of fans. I know it did, and it won the jury with 100 points. And even Mons gave his 12 to Curly and said it's a modern song that would fit in and do very well at Eurovision. Have to question that slightly, and I've never questioned anything from Mons before. But there's
I was going to say, I don't often question Mons, but no, it wasn't second. It was a bit of a mess. If she had have gone, it would have been very similar to how Cascada did in 2013. I think it would have gone with a lot of hype behind it, but when they were actually there, not that good. I don't think, but. You talked about staging with Curly and sort of problems that she would have had to iron out. I think with Verona, that song's only going to get better. I mean, I think the staging potential for that song is massive.
Yeah, I mean, they still have, there's still a few issues with the staging I don't like, which I'll use to round this out. Moving on to third spot was Radmus Ranve with This Love, and I had discounted this until the semi-final, and when I saw that semi-final, I just kind of went, oh. And I was tied on 4 songs for the super final. Like, I had my 4 favourites. We had the break. Came back 45 minutes later with a second recap, thinking, I might be able to make a clear-cut decision. Still couldn't. This was one of them. And I was like, I think I maybe had him 4th. Like, I had him 3rd/4th, and I wasn't upset when he was in the super final. My top 3 were actually Verona, Slingshot, In and Out, and This Love. Like, that was the 4. Anyway, it deserves its spot. Came second with the jury. Very deserving. Public let it down. That's obviously how it fell flat in the super final as well. But it's a very catchy, very modern song, and this would chart in the UK. I hate saying that, but if it was in the UK, it would be like top 5 or top 10 definitely. It's a very modern sound, and he performed it very well.
I hated it. I thought the stage, the camera, the staging, it was awful. And if they had have sent it, it would have been exactly the same as how they did last year. It wouldn't have made it out of the semi-final. It's a very similar song. It wouldn't have made it out of the semi-final. There's no way it should be near the top 3 in Eesti Laul this year. There are so many songs more deserving of that top 3 position, and I do not understand it in the slightest. I just don't get it. I mean, I can understand why it did well with the jury, because it's the sort of song that would do well with the jury, but Alina was better, Lislem Salu was better, Lena was better, Ariadne was better. Yeah. Shocked that it was in the top 3.
No, I'm not. I think he earned his spot and he deserved it. I did say, though, on Twitter, the main drawback for the song, or Stop It Winning, was maybe there was too many elements similar to last year's song, which a lot of people did agree with me on, and that's probably what held it back. It was like Yuli song, roughed up a bit. But yeah. Third, he's young, can come back, won Estonian Idol the year that Lena Bourne came second, so he's got, star
he'll
power.
Come back.
He'll be back, and he'll do it again.
That's the good thing about this final, actually. I think a lot will be back. I think Lislem Salu will be back. I think Lena will be back. Rasmus will be back, and I think Ariadne will be back as well. Whether or not we will see Alina Bourne back again, I don't know. After coming last in the final, I'm not sure.
No, and so let's just move on about that. She came last in both the jury and the televote, and the televote is where I'm really stunned she placed so low. Her vocal, wasn't the best, and it wasn't that much better than the semi-final, which I think held it back, but I don't understand how this did so badly. I mean, her and Stig and Alina walked it 2 years ago. Absolutely walked it, and I thought some of that will still carry some weight. When we see other competitions like Dance Melody Grand Prix, Melody Festival, all these other sort of national finals, have their base, and that gets them through at least a round or two. But this didn't, and I'm really upset because when it came to my prediction, I was gonna say like Verona was gonna win, but then at the last minute I went, no, say in or out, and I publicly said in or out's gonna win, and at the last second, and I look very stupid now.
I mean, looking at the figures for votes wise, she legitimately got the same number of televotes as you would get like in a student union election at a university. Like, that's a pitiful number of votes, like 3,057 votes in the entirety of Estonia. That is awful.
Such a shame. I don't think she will be back. It was her third or fourth attempt. She's won once and tried like 2 other times, I think. She's done it a few times. But no, I don't think we'll see her back. Maybe as a songwriter or that sort of element, but I don't see her entering herself anytime soon, which is a shame. And the song that came forth really surprised me with Have You Now. They changed the staging of it, which was good. They weren't doing a Verona and like facing opposite of each other, and they were walking around and all this. But it's still really a naff song.
I'll be honest, I was out last night, so I've just been sort of catching it all up on recap. I've not even bothered with that song. That's how much I think about it. I've listened to the rest of them. That one, no, not fast. Really, didn't get it. No idea how that's there.
Well, again, if it was like any other, if it was like say Dance Money Grand Prix where the jury or someone else like picks the finalists and go, and then the public have to choose them, Have You Now would have been in the super finals. It got third in the jury, and again, Mons gave it his 2 out of 10. So
well, this is the thing. Like Verona wouldn't have been
there.
Right, wouldn't have been in the top 3 at all if it had been a Spain-based debacle in Estonia. So yeah.
Going on to say back to Koit and Laura, say the one main issue I have with the song is its staging. I just don't think it's presented right. I mean, I get what they're trying to do, and it is quite clever, like because it's two lovers like angry at each other and like rehashing their past. But the way I see it, maybe it's just like a British thing. But if you're that angry and you're saying stuff about each other, say it to each other, not away from each other, or say it and then maybe turn away, but then go back. Like it just felt like 2 soloists instead of a duet at times.
It doesn't feel like they've got great chemistry at the moment, but there is still time for that to change. This is what I mean. I think with Verona, there is so much potential for that to be staged very, very well. And I think the fact that the stage in Kyiv this year will be smaller, I think will work for them. I think it will work nicely as quite an intimate song. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to have any problems getting to the final. I think they will absolutely be in the final, which obviously will be a pleasant change from last year. But I think they're going to be in the bottom half.
I don't know. I can see it doing well and I can see it doing poorly in the final. But say, looking at the songs in that semi-final, it's probably the strongest one so far, and I can see it easily coasting through into the final. So we shall have to see on Koit and Laura, but Verona is off to Eurovision. Happy? Are you not happy? Did you want Curly, Rasmus, Alina? Let us know. And we will find out how Koit and Laura gets on for Estonia on the 11th of May in the second semi-final.